everyone, and welcome to the Trending in My Life podcast, episode 11. This week I want to talk about being true to you, the authentic you, and how often you're able to do that. My first question is, are you a good actor? Think about that for a moment. I bet you are. You just don't think about it as acting. Every day you get up and play a part, a role in your life to meet the expectations of others. In fact, there are multiple roles during the course of your day. Let's start with breakfast time. You may be Mr. Grumpy Trousers or Miss Sunshine. Some of us are cheery in the morning by nature. And I'll be throwing back the duvet and bouncing up out of bed to greet the day. Or maybe I'll be off for a jog and a shower and a protein shake. But I could be crawling out of bed, swearing at the alarm clock, grunting replies whilst inhaling a large mug of coffee and yearning to head back to be under the duvet instead of going out to work. This time of day, you're probably your more authentic self than any other time. People who are not morning people are often night owls, preferring to stay up late, sometimes into the early hours. Maybe they're out clubbing or into gaming and playing with friends on different sides of the world in different time zones so they don't finish till the early hours of the morning. That's when breakfast with a partner takes all your acting skills. Putting a brave face on a hangover or the impending doom worries about work, you'll raise that fake smile, offer to make them a coffee whilst hugging your own, and nod agreement to what feels like incessant chatter when you'd much rather wake up slowly in peace and quiet. Already you're starting the day as someone else. So are you a good actor? Perhaps better than you think. If you're breakfasting with a life partner though, you're more likely to slip into acting. You might be the one listening and providing advice on problems. You might be leading the conversation with plans for an evening meal out. Your role may be one of running errands and ensuring items are collected or dropped off, that there's food in the cupboard for the week. You may both have work schedules to coordinate, children's activities to put in your calendar, a million things to think about. Maybe you're in the role of husband, wife, partner, father, mother, already acting the part you've become accustomed to playing. For some, it may be completely natural, and they are being their true selves. As years pass though, sometimes the enthusiasm to become that role may fade a little, or just adjust slightly. You may be saying the right things for the part you have, but you may have lost the genuine enthusiasm for it. When you become aware of it, try and think about what would make you feel better, happier, rather than resent the role. Perhaps find a solution to adjust things slightly. If you can reason out your own solution before talking about it with your partner, you can approach it with the lead of, I feel I'd be happier if I could just try this to see how it works. And maybe if you think about it, there might be something you'd like to adjust to feel happier. Change can be good if it benefits both partners. Better to talk it through rather than to bottle it up and feel you need to have your way on everything or walk away. Compromise is key, but working towards a happier you is a good goal to have where you can express how you feel and not be trapped in the role. Question: how are you feeling today? I'm good. I'm fine. I'm okay. Maybe I don't believe that. Maybe I think you just gave a standard response. You're into that other role, the one where you're not worrying about anything, from your health to your work. Everything is sunshine and roses. Or is it? Some people think to answer the question, how are you honestly, is a sign of weakness. They don't want people to know how they really feel. Now perhaps if you answered honestly with, actually, I've only had 4 hours sleep, have an aching back, and haven't had any luck finding a girlfriend this week. Well, I can see how that might reflect negatively on someone's view of you. There's a different answer though. How about saying something about doing something you enjoy, like, well, I'm thinking about how long it's been since I last went mountain biking. I really should get that bike out of the garage and clean it up. In that way, you're giving a more interesting answer, talked about something that's truly your thing, and made you think of a future outing that gives you something to look forward to. You've actually become a way more interesting person to the one that asked the question. This could prompt them to share something about their life, or ask if they can join you, because it so happens they're into that activity too. In work, you take on a whole other role, that of your job title. You act a certain way that you feel fits what you do. Perhaps only those who run their own business have the option to dress as they please and set their own hours, but eventually even they will see themselves as dressing a certain way and acting out their role, or whatever you want them to think of when they look at you. You'll know what I mean. Are you the leader at work, or the ideas person, the problem solver, the financial whiz, or speechwriter? Do you feel like the mom of the office, or the dad of the workshop? And is it a job title you actively sought out, or did you happen to fall into it? Sometimes enjoying your job can be tied to the personality and character of the people you work with. Do you admire their work, or laugh at their jokes, or just appreciate a smile and someone that's on your wavelength? Perhaps you love the location. Your workplace might have views out over the water or across an orchard. If you're in sales, you might be around things you want to own one day. A house, a car, a tuxedo. Some aspects of your work life may keep you there, playing the part, acting the role, even if the whole package doesn't fit right or feel like your forever career. The single people at work often congregate together in the break room, comparing wild stories about their weekend exploits. It becomes a competition to see who can be the most outrageous. There's a lot of pressure in that role, and you can be at the top one week and reduced to a non-entity the next. It's good that they're young and have the energy to keep this intense act going. Can you spot them? You might even glimpse how needy they are for the notoriety, or is it simply for the attention? All they really want is approval, or to be seen and heard. Are there holes in their acting? You can see if you stop and observe rather than judging and moving on. There's the other view of acting a role where you're faking it till you make it. Like someone rising up with a promotion and being in charge of people who were colleagues that they used to hang out with. Suddenly, as a manager, there are tasks to delegate and then review. That person may take to acting a certain way, develop a style of response to questions, and have set phrases they use. The more repetitive that behaviour is over days, weeks, and months, the more the person has become the role. In some circumstances, without acting, the person would have felt lost as to how to become someone they'd never been before. Too easygoing, too stern, not encouraging enough, but then not a pushover. And all the time, when they're alone, or when they're with trusted friends or families, they can revert to being the true them, the person they really are. Now you would think when you leave work and are out with your friends, with your mates, going for a drink or a meal or clubbing, or maybe going on a day trip, or even a week abroad. Yes, you would think that you can be your true self, act naturally. These are your friends, they've known you for years. It would be easy to be like that, or would it? You may find that friends that you've known since school still think of you in a certain mould. You were always the quiet one, the clown, the serious one, the one that was up for anything. When you meet up and spend time together, they expect you to still be that way. You wonder if there's an element of that still deep down inside, tucked away somewhere, and when you start to play the expected role, in some cases you let loose that person you used to be, clowning around, leading the group off on an adventure. You may feel free of the grown-up you became and find the true you is still there. If you feel it's a pressure to be someone you've grown out of, then you can dig your heels in and just be who you are now. They might tease you a bit, but over time, accept that this is who you are now. You can always say, just not feeling it today. Let someone else do the joking, come up with the ideas of where to go. They may even feel the same way, or just one or two of them start acting slightly different because they're quietly taking your lead to be more honest about who they are now. Activities that we choose to do in our free time might be alone time, where you're only competing with your own best self. For a run, or seeing if a workout at the gym becomes easier. You can be your true you if you focus on yourself and what you're doing. Your motivation for doing the activity might be just to be fitter or healthier, but because you want to be that way, the activity is just for you. This time can be yours to be who you want to be. Part of your free time may be spent learning a new hobby. You could be in a group of strangers, learning to swim or ice skate, or learning a new language before going on vacation. You decide if you are your authentic self or if you create another role to play a part. You're with people who have no preconception of who you are, so you have a blank slate. Perhaps see if they like you just being you before you cast yourself in a new part to play. So whether it's work, leisure, relationships or alone time, you create the amount of parts you play, roles you step into, the acting you do. We all do it to some degree. It's part of life. At home, you and your partner could be your authentic selves within your relationship. But when you invite friends round, does an element of acting creep in to show your home and yourself in the best possible light? Stepping into the role of the happy couple with the beautiful home. It can be a hard act to keep up. Don't mind the dog who's humping your leg. Don't notice that dinner is 30 minutes late because we forgot to switch the oven on. Your hair is doing some weird sticky up thing and you've lost the ability to think of sparkling dinner conversation. You're overcompensating, dredging up stories from the past that your guests just don't get. Worry less, enjoy more. True friends will be waiting for the true you to come back out. Just relax. Give yourself a vacation from playing these parts occasionally, just so you can remember who the true you is. Be spontaneous and go places and do things that you feel like on the spur of the moment, just for you. Walk or drive down roads you've never been down before, just to see where they go. It can be fun. Dedicate a half or whole day to pampering yourself, a long soak in the bath, an afternoon nap, listening to a guided meditation, your favourite music, a face pack, hand massage, applying nail polish, anything you like. Spoil yourself with a treat, a takeaway meal delivered to your door, or just reading that book you've wanted to for ages. Give yourself time off from being anyone else and just be yourself. In life, sometimes children act like the parent, especially if the parent is elderly and wants to do whatever they please, and the children, now adults themselves, end up scolding the parent. Roles have been reversed, and sometimes parents want to do wild and exciting things that they never had time for whilst they were raising their children. Then with the role reversal, The children are thinking the parents' actions are reckless and thoughtless. They are being as overprotective as their own parent was to them, but neither can see the other's point of view because the role has been switched. Sometimes you're only your true self when you're alone, singing or dancing to music played in your own home, freewheeling downhill on a bike with the wind blowing your hair, losing yourself sketching or painting, smiling at a puppy lolloping down the street with its tail wagging 10 to the dozen, laughing at a comedy show. If there's no one around, there's no one to judge and no one to impress, so you can just be you, your true, authentic self. We all play all kinds of parts in our lives, and I'm not criticising you for being a good actor in those roles. I'm just making you aware of it and perhaps getting you to think about dedicating a tiny part of your day every day just to be yourself, the true you, without having to be anything but you. You're an amazing human being just the way you are, and if you're lucky, you may find someone who will accept you just as you are, and then when you spend time together, you can totally relax. But if and when that happens someday, you will always have you, and spending a little alone time to be completely and utterly free of other people's expectations is a wonderful way to spend 30 minutes a day, or less or more, depending on your schedule, of course. Something worth thinking about. Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Please like, comment, subscribe and share with a friend. If you don't want to miss out on any future content, click the notification bell and choose all, then you'll get to know. Thank you for joining me and see you next time. Bye for now.